porte une ambition claire, devenir un pôle africain majeur de production responsable, de transformation industrielle et d'innovation autour des minéraux critiques. Cette ambition suppose des investissements dans les infrastructures, l'énergie, la recherche, les compétences et les technologies. Elle suppose aussi la formalisation et la modernisation de l'exploitation artisanale afin que les travailleurs et les communautés locales deviennent pleinement partie prenante des chaînes de valeur qu'ils rendent possibles. Notre participation récente au Forum d'Abidjan a réaffirmé cette conviction. Nous avons besoin d'un partenariat renouvelé, fondé sur la transparence, le renforcement des capacités institutionnelles, une plus grande création de valeur sur le continent africain et une articulation cohérente entre les cadres nationaux, régionaux et multilatéraux. Excellencies, the global energy transition must not become another extractive transition. If it merely replaces one form of dependency with another, it will have fallen short of its promise. Yesterday, under the Democratic Republic of the Congo's presidency of the Security Council, we convened an area formula meeting on natural resources and conflict prevention. For countries like mine, this is no longer merely a development issue. Illicit exploitation weakens state authority, erodes sovereignty, and facilitates the violation of territorial integrity. Let's take, for example, the small town of Rubaya in North Kivu province. It illustrates this starkly. Its mines account for an estimated 15% of global tantalum demand. According to the United Nations group of experts, at least 1,400 tons of coltan were smuggled into Rwanda during the first year following their seizure by the Rwanda-backed M23, generating an estimated $800,000 US every month for the armed group. Yet, despite this damning evidence, designation under the United Nations sanctions regime has yet to materialize. This reveals both insufficient enforcement of existing tools and a wider gap in the international architecture, which still too often confines natural resource governance to the development sphere, even when illicit exploitation sustains armed conflict, erodes sovereignty, and violates territorial integrity. This is why the Democratic Republic of the Congo is advocating, during its mandate at the Security Council and beyond, for a more coherent framework linking natural resources to conflict prevention, international peace and security, and shared prosperity. We welcome the Secretary General's guiding principles and actionable recommendations, but principles will matter only if they translate into measurable change on the ground. Partnership must move beyond securing access to raw materials. They must support local and regional value addition, infrastructure, technology transfer, research, skills industrialization, and access to finance and markets.